Over 12 years ago, my dad made the suggestion to me. He said, Chris, why don't you host people from wherever they are to come to Columbus and to study with you. And I was like, I could never make that happen. But I decided to give it a try. So the first year I had 8 students and I was the only teacher. And then I just kept building on it, and I had this vision that someday, I'm going to have the entire Central Ohio community be overrun with the sound of violins. And if I just keep trying every year, we'll just make this happen. And so over a long time, we've been building it up. And this year we have 100 string players from 6 countries, many of whom are adult professionals. For example, seasoned veterans of professional orchestras, full-time music teachers. But some of them have specialized in, being classical music performers, sort of a traditional, classical violin players, and they want to learn how to branch out.
Yeah, see, you're feeling that resistance. It's really swinging. It feels great. And each moment, you can change and reinterpret. When you're doing it with a section, though, we all have to agree. And that's really the big challenge about being in a section and playing together, is everyone has to feel that same spot.
So it's professional development, and for them, in the sense of, having participated in orchestras, string quartets, and playing solo chamber music, traditional classical music. But now they want to become more like contemporary musicians now, with the ability to improvise and play other styles of music, including jazz or blues or rock music, or play with a singer-songwriter. So that requires a different set of skills. I like to say creative skills. So it's an analogy I like to use is that a classically trained violin player is like a highly trained race car driver, but they don't know how to fix the car. Music is like the car. I want to encourage musicians to be more empowered by really understanding the music in a way that they can write their own music, or they can improvise music in a variety of styles. So that's what's different about this, because so many string players learn in the classical tradition. Now many electric guitarists and drummers, saxophone players, piano players, many musicians learn jazz music or other styles of music. But in the bowed strings world, typically we don't. So that's what's, I guess, different about this camp, is giving those types of skills that jazz musicians learn to classically trained string players.
So play roots, just play roots for now, and see how it works. Because I was thinking,
but the cool part about what we're doing is the way that they're studying. We're essentially throwing them into the fire. So they have quick rehearsals with master artist teachers, and then they have to go around in the community and perform. It acts as a festival for the community to enjoy, and at the same time, that's a learning experience, a real life learning experience for the participants. Also have a separate track for local kids aged about 10 to 16 who can participate as well. One of the things that I'm really happy about now is that 3 months ago we were we received our 501c3 status. So now we're nonprofit, and we can partner with other community organizations whose function it is to do these kinds of things. You know, because we've been recognized now through our nonprofit status as a cultural and an educational entity. So I really see this as a positive step in our growth in years to come. It's a positive sign that we're going to be able to continue to do this more and better. This year I thought it would be really smart, instead of driving all over Central Ohio as much as we have in the past, I thought it would be nice to experiment with the idea of being more locally based and locally present. So now that we're 3 blocks from Delaware's downtown, we can actually walk and we can really make a big impact in this small community versus being in a bigger city like Columbus and, you know, making maybe a smaller impact in a way. And my dad lives a couple blocks from here. So, you know, 8 years ago, my dad had a life-altering traumatic brain injury. And one of the reasons I wanted to come here to Delaware is because he's so close here, and this camp I do feel is a part of his legacy.